Hello, welcome to the presentation for Creo 3's Design Exploration Extension, or DEX as we like to call it. Design Exploration Extension helps you to unleash creativity, explore and evaluate multiple design ideas simultaneously, and it manages complex design changes in a safe, associative and purpose-built environment. Now, before we jump into the main body of the presentation, I'd just like to provide a little context as to why this extension exists and some of the challenges that it was designed to address. PTC did a survey on concept design and some of the challenges companies face in the early stages of their design processes. Most companies agreed that to be successful, innovation is needed for new products, and that requires good concept design. If you don't start with a good concept, your product is more likely to fail. Failed products lead to loss of market share, unhappy customers, and squandered money and time. We also found that despite almost everyone agreeing that most of the critical decisions happen in these early concept phases, this phase can often be cut short due to scheduling problems. Companies don't really want shorter design phases, but what they would like is the ability to explore and investigate more designs in the time that they've scheduled and allocated for concept design. So when companies start to evolve these new products, the general consensus was that although they sometimes start from scratch, they usually take existing designs and then evolve and leverage them into these new products that they're creating. Design Exploration Extension was developed with all of this in mind. For this presentation, I'll demonstrate how we can take this chair design and build new concepts around it. So we have this new product, we have this existing design, and I've got all sorts of great ideas to push this product forward. But these ideas are probably going to involve significant changes to an already really complex design. How do I evaluate all of the avenues I want to go down? And how do I incorporate these into my official design? Now, traditionally, most people would probably go down the save as route or the backing up to multiple folders, duplicating their designs. They have to continuously close and erase the session data just to jump between different ideas. Sometimes they have to take screenshots for evaluation purposes, but then they also have to manually track down and identify all the different changes that they've made through all the different versions and folders that they've created to push forward into their real design. And as you can imagine, this can be quite a nightmare to manage. So how does DEX overcome these traditional issues? It creates a virtual sandbox for your designs, taking a snapshot of your current session and allowing you to capture incremental changes and easily toggle between them using things called checkpoints. You can then accept the changes or revert to how it was, as was, completely risk-free. Now, should you wish to branch off in a totally different direction, DEX will support the creation of simultaneous concepts, allowing you to evaluate all the different options and design strategies that you have for your product. In addition to this, DEX will also allow you to confidently handle the consequences of a design change. If you've copied geometry to downstream parts like surfaces, you can now define how those features update and what kind of control you have over them. It will provide you with live notification that there are changes about to happen and then give you a color-coded preview of the before and after results. If you wish to continue, you can then jump into a DEX session whereby you can safely propagate that change through to all the other parts, and should you not like the results, revert back to the pre-modified state. It's extraordinarily powerful. Let's take a look at Design Exploration Extension in action. We pick up with this design just before we're about to explore different design alternatives. So we initiate a design exploration session and give it a name. Immediately, DEX will step in and it will store the in-session geometry in a pre-modified checkpoint. I've made a quick change to the base to give it 6 wheels rather than 4, and then store this as a checkpoint that I can return to a little bit later on. We also want to make some changes to the armrests. They're facing the wrong way at the moment. People keep ripping their sleeves on that, so we're going to move it to the back. And this could be a different design alternative that I'd like to come back to a bit later on. So again, I'm simply going to create this as a brand new checkpoint. As it stands, each of the checkpoints that I've been making are being initiated and created sequentially to each other. But what I might want to do is jump back to a previous checkpoint and create something called a branch. So if we jump back to the 6-wheel checkpoint in here, we can start to make alterations to the actual shape of those, and then push those a little bit forward and explore more design alternatives following on from that 6-wheel design. We can also create brand new components in the context of this new session that won't exist anywhere else but in this design exploration area. And they will stay there until I'm ready to actually create them as the go-forward design, at which point they'll appear on my actual hard disk. So we can create plenty of different versions of these objects as we move forward with this design. In this case, new for next year are headrests. We've already created a very simple headrest, and I'd like to use that as the jump-off point to create lots of different styles of headrest. So you can see we've got quite a flashy one here with some scoop outs. Let's jump back to the more conservative design and maybe just progress that a little bit forward. And you can see by jumping back to previous checkpoints that we've made, we can start to create multiple branches and explore different design ideas. This ability to toggle back and forth between different design ideas gives the user unrivaled flexibility when exploring design alternatives. Can you imagine having to flip and change without this functionality, having to clean out your session, navigate to a different directory, open up a complete duplicate of the entire assembly, and having to do that time and time again every time you want to explore a different avenue? Once you're happy with the different designs that you've been exploring with, you can choose to save everything that you've done in that particular session back to something called a TMZ file. That TMZ file accompanies the existing data and stores all of that in-session information that you've created away from the existing designs. So as far as the rest of the business is concerned, those original files will not be changed unless you select this option, which is to make whatever checkpoint you've selected the go-forward version of that design, at which point all the modifications that you've made, any new components that you've produced, any removed objects that you've done will be applied to the existing design. Obviously, this last option in here will be to delete the session that you've done if you're not satisfied with the different alternatives that you've made. In this instance, I'm going to close the session, but save those incremental changes to the TMZ. In this next sequence, we're going to look at confidently handling the consequences of a design change, and to do that I'm going to edit the skeleton of this chair design. The first thing that we're going to do is to set the update options for the copied geometry features that exist inside these lower level components. So rather than an automatic update, I'd like the system to notify me that there's a change pending and allow me to manually update that and propagate that change through to the dependent models. I'll now make some key design changes to the skeleton, picking up and editing the surface for the backrest and also for the seat itself. And what we should find is that once we go back to the main assembly, rather than automatically updating, I'll get notification both in the model tree and also from the notification center. The notification center will give me a detailed description of all of the out-of-date features and then provide me with capabilities to source them in the model tree and also to update them. Now in this case I'm going to find them in the model tree, but then use the right-hand mouse button to go into the update control options. These options provide me with the ability to update, show differences, or explore what would happen with the update in a DEX session. To begin with, I'm going to jump into the show differences where I get a before and after picture of how those changes have happened. And then I can jump into the DEX session to explore the update and see what the effects are going to be in a safe environment where it's not going to affect the original models, and I can run that change right through and see the effect that it's going to have on the rest of the assembly. Immediately we can see that this change has been quite dramatic and it's caused a number of failures in these downstream features and parts that we have. But because we've run this change through the design exploration session, it's very simple to cancel out and return back to a pre-modified state where all of the models are still intact. This would have been incredibly difficult to do had I not had design exploration. It would have resulted in me sitting there repairing all of the different models that I'd been working on to try and return back to that working design. The final element to this demonstration is about reviewing the concepts that you've made. So far we know that we can create these TMZ files that store our work in progress concepts. You can create as many of these TMZ files as you like against any assembly. But the real benefit is that you can actually distribute these TMZ files to other members of your team, allowing them to browse all of the different concepts and branches and design avenues that you've gone down, and perhaps even adding to those themselves. What this means is that you can toggle between lots of different concepts extraordinarily quickly when it comes to things like design reviews. And when you finally agree on the go-forward version of that design, you simply activate that checkpoint, complete the design exploration session, and then proceed with the design. So let's summarize. Design Exploration Extension helps you unleash creativity. You can explore and evaluate multiple design ideas simultaneously. You can participate in interactive design reviews and manage complex design changes in a safe, associative, and efficient environment. That concludes the presentation. If you've liked what you've seen and you want to see more, please come and find us at www.root-solutions.co.uk. You can email us on sales@root-solutions.co.uk, or you could call us on 01954 288 288. From all of us here at Root Solutions, thank you for watching.